So I've hit another wrinkle, which is that I thought my Ubuntu VM would have enough space on its various drives to do what it needed to do, but it very suddenly ran out of space entirely. I went from having 2 or 3 gigs of space free to having a mere handful of meg free. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 2 things actually. One, I'm going to kick this up a notch as far as my memory is concerned. I'm going to go from 4 to 6 on this thing, and then I'm going to add another hard drive. So let me push this up to 6 gigs. I think that's approximately 6 gigs. I might be a little bit wrong on that. The other thing I'm going to do, so click OK. One change at a time. Then I'm going to go to my virtual machine settings. What I'm going to do now is to add a virtual hard disk. I'm going to add another 20 gig disk. So I'm going to go hard disk. So yeah, the thing to note here is that, okay, NVMe recommended. Interesting. I'm going to go SATA. The thing about adding SATA drives in Workstation is you can actually do it while the thing is running. NVMe, what is NVMe? I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me see. NVMe. Oh, interesting. That's basically, oh, actually I am going to do this because this thing is a virtual hard drive anyway. So this NVMe is a simulated SSD. That could be really good for me for performance, for read-write times. I'm going to create a new virtual disk, and I'm going to give it another 20 gigs. And I'm going to choose a single file. I'm not going to allocate all the disk space now. Now the recommendation for Win10 x64, that would be for the entire OS, but that's not really what I need right now. And oh, I've got 6.1 gigabytes of memory. So let's call that, one 20 gig file. Next, it'll be easier to do snapshots of this now. Now, what I have to do now, once I get inside the system, and once I get inside the system, I can also show you that there's also a share. So I've got VMware settings. I've got a share turned on in options. Shared folders are enabled. So the ISO's directory inside on my C drive. So when I want to spin up that HyperV Kali box, import it. I can do so quite readily because it's already there. So I can power on this virtual machine. Of course, I'll have to do some disk management stuff with it, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Okay, we're going to do some disk management. So I'll go to my control panel. Actually, no, strike that. I'll go to my administrative tools inside my control panel because what I need is disk management. Let's see. So I got my HyperV stuff. Services. Okay. Control, yes. Control, create and format hard disks. So that would have been kind of hiding from me. Okay. Okay. So let's make it GPT. Cancel. I want to do this the old way. See, I've got this new disk. And I'm going to initialize it first, make it GPT. It doesn't have to be back. I don't have to choose back NBR for this purposes of backwards compatibility. Now that I've initialized it, I can make it a new simple volume. Click next. Give it the whole thing. Okay, call it F. Call it virtual. Call it VMs. Click next. Boom. There we go. So what I can do now, because I've got the ISOs thing, the next thing I can do essentially is take this, my LTS, because I want to try to move this. So I can drag it over into my virtual machines. And boom, that happened really fast. I've also got my shared folders. My shared folder is essentially mounted as though it were a network drive. So I can grab my Kali HyperV and move it to my virtual machines. And I can move my Ubuntu to my data drive. I don't want to, I don't want to do these things too quickly. Let's see, more details. It's one of the things, the graph view is one of the things I like about Windows 10. Actually watching these things in real time to see what kind of speed I'm getting on them and how long it is likely to take. Windows is still bad about estimating time to completion, but it's not quite as bad as it used to be. Anyway, the next thing I have to do after this is actually tell HyperV that the settings have moved. And hopefully I'll be able to spin the thing up without any major issues. Now let's check something right quick. This is actually my I'm not going to do this on my DC because I don't want to do it there. But advanced. Okay, secure boot, hardware, processors. Yeah. I'm going to have to, for every guest OS that I want to use as a virtualization platform unto itself, I'm going to have to re-enable these virtualization engine things. So I'm not going to do that on my DC because that's my DC is doing quite enough by itself. So let's, okay, close disk management, don't need that anymore. My Ubuntu, notice this one is a 32-bit image. As long as the host system, even if the host system is itself a guest system, as long as the host system is a 64-bit system, it can handle 32-bit images. The converse is not true. And let's go to, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put HyperV on my desktop and see if this will work. Go to my admin tools. Because I want to send the HyperV, put the HyperV on my, okay, maybe it doesn't want to do that. Maybe I can do this after it gets started. I'll pause this for a minute. And as per usual, I'm renaming my Probably need to point my hard drive file at a different browse to the new location. Okay. Make sure that, let's see where everything else is going. I'm going to put the paging files for there too on my virtual machines. Put all of it in the same spot. Checkpoints. Put those there. Put all of it together. Apply. Because the last time I did this, it crashed on me. It got too big. I may have to start some of this over. I guess that's kind of my fault for not thinking in greater depth about, okay, install Ubuntu. I might have to wipe what I did before. It may find a dirty partition. I might have to nuke it. That's fine. Okay. The first indication, honestly, was that I was starting to install, after I got through with my, the first indication of trouble was that after I got through with my drive partitioning for my virtual drive, I got to the point where I should have been able to provide my username, password, and so forth, and it locked up on me. It stopped. I couldn't even move the mouse cursor into that OS. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to try this again. But I will pause this now because this is Ubuntu is Ubuntu is Ubuntu. I'll come back after a little while if it works. Thanks for watching. Okay, so it worked. I can't seem to resize the window, which is slightly annoying, but here I am. This is me. And obviously I am running Ubuntu inside HyperV, inside Windows 10, inside VMware, inside Windows 10. You kind of have, really there's a lot of commonalities, and of course it's going to tell me about Ubuntu. I already know that. Let's see. No, we don't want to do that. Yes. Anyway, so yeah. Okay. Next, I need to figure out how to fix the screen resolution on this thing, because let's see where we go. There's my settings. Okay, here. As you can see, I have my actions pane over here, my library here, a list of my virtual machines, checkpoints. This kind of the HyperV manager seems to put a whole bunch of stuff right up front to a greater extent than say VMware does. So devices. Let's go to devices, resolution. I'm actually going to crank that up. Interesting. Okay. Orientation, unknown display. It may not know how to fix that. It may not know how to change that. Okay. Never mind. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Anyway, so this is proof that it works. Now that I know that it works, I can do the same thing by importing Kali. Let's see. Remind me later. Yeah, because I just want to shut this thing down for now. And again, as usual, shut it down gracefully. And now that I know it works, I can take a checkpoint. Action. Checkpoint. Okay, there. And I'm done.